Alrighty, we ran into a bunch of unexpected problems. The spotlight that I was using burnt out, so we've got some 48-inch fluorescent tubes rigged up right now, which kind of swing around a little bit, so if the picture starts bobbing around, I have to apologize. I got to rig up all sorts of stuff to get this to happen. I've used the shop vac. I've cleaned out my ports, and I removed the spark plugs. Boy, these gloves glow in the dark, don't they? So we got everything here cleaned up. No gasket material left, no imperfections left. So we're actually ready to put the new manifold on. The new manifold, these gaskets are already a part of it. So we're going to go grab that manifold. And we'll take the manifold and just gently get this thing right down into place here. And that's where she sits. Just like that. All the gaskets are already in it. You don't have to do anything other than just start dropping in bolts. We're going to use some anti-seize on every one of the bolts that we put in here, just to play it safe. And we'll get that stinker back here underneath the wiring harness. And these are thermostat housing, those are the long bolts. I'm really not quite sure at the moment about this one. I need to look at the old manifold real quick. Now, that's another bolt hole. And that one. Snug all of those down now, I guess. Definitely had some fun getting all of the junk out of the ports. I'm just going to go finger tight with these for now, because we still need to wiggle this thing around, get everything seated. Not even tightening these down yet, just bringing them all the way in. And this is why we gotta loosen up to wiggle it around. And the other lighting that I had was pretty stable. This one, unfortunately, is swinging all over the place. I'm going to use a swivel on that one back there. I really don't feel like fighting with it too much. I'll fight with it no matter what anyways. There we go. Now I've got to remember, this is a plastic manifold. So you want to do everything nice and slow and gentle. Tighten this down as uniformly as we can. Plastic is good and thick. It's still plastic. And again, back to fighting with that one in the back. There's got to be an easier way to hold this harness out of the way. Okay, get them all snugged up. Now we're going to tighten them. Again, keep in mind you're going into aluminum. Oh, this harness really stinks. Okay, intake manifold is now bolted down. That really wasn't too hard. Okay, we've gotten the fuel injectors cleaned up as best we can. And I get all these fuel injectors pretty much lined up. Takes a little bit of silicone grease. Now we're going to spread that around each one of these little washers. Make sure not to get any of it in the end of the injector. That'll cause a lot of nasty little problems. A little silicone grease on each one of these washers. And help these things slide right down in. Make sure they're coated all the way around. Okay, now let's position this fuel rail. Now we'll just tip it right back over again. Slowly and carefully line them up. We got to get it underneath there first. Alright, got the fuel rail in place, and we're going to put down the little double-sided studs. Put a little bit of anti-seize on these. I'll get these started. One of the things about doing stuff like this, like retrofitting new parts, is that you run into all sorts of weird little problems. So what I've been doing is double checking things. These double-sided studs seem to be bottoming out prematurely, and they made me really nervous. I was afraid of breaking the plastic, so I'm using the tube from one of the spray bottles to measure how deep the holes are, and then comparing that to the depth of the bolt, found out that we've actually got the room. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in. These are back here plenty deep enough. This one, on the other hand, I'm not 100% sure about. This one seemed to be really, really close. But they all seem to want to stop right about the same place. So far, so good. A lot of this job's making me nervous. But that's part of being a mechanic. Sometimes things don't work exactly the way you think they're going to all the time. And there we go. Now what I'm going to do over here, let's see, spark plug wires, fuel injector wires, let's get those all back over where they're supposed to be. That one's pretty much a given. Snap that one on. Snap that one on. Let's go ahead and put the alternator in. Get that out of the way. That's 10mm. Short extension. 10mm shorter extension. I'm trying to check a couple of things out here, and seems the bracket that they give you with this doesn't look like it's going to fit exactly the way it's supposed to, but we'll have to find out as we go. Shaking the camera all over the place. Make those good and tight because they're going into cast iron. Let's get the belt out of the way. Get the breaker bar down into the tensioner. Even tension. Get her up onto the alternator. Hopefully the belt's still on everything nice and tight. Alright, what do we want to do next? I got the fuel rail bolted down, alternator bolted in. I have a funny feeling I'm going to have to pick up a tap today. There's these holes right here for this bracket. We're going to be trying to put new screws down in there, and I don't feel too confident that we're going to be able to do that without cracking the plastic. So at this point, let's see. Oh yeah, we got the rail hooked up. Let's get the wiring on this side hooked up as well. Just bring the rail over, snap it in. Snap down our fuel injection plugs. Yep, nice and easy. It's their new home. They don't exactly snap down in there like the last ones did. Alright. Got everything over here in place. Let's go and get this hose here all tightened down. This one I'm going to have to hold because fitting is a lot different. I want this clamped right on the end of the hose. Kind of close, but not right on the end. Alright. Seem to have a problem with the battery not lasting very long. So now we're going to turn around and get the throttle body in place. Remember these bolts here? One was longer than the other one. Longer one in the back. Shorter one in the front. There she sits. Like that right there. Alright, prep the gasket with a little bit of silicone. Of course, I'm always making a mess with this stuff. Hate using silicone, but sometimes you just got to. Seems to be the issue here. And won't bolt go in there. It seems logical that it came out of there. Probably would have been more intelligent of me. Not snug these up. Till I got all of them in. This one's going to be tricky because I messed up my extension, so I'm going to go grab an adapter so I can use an extension. And then I need that in here like this. that was not funny, because now that extension is way down underneath here, and the only way I'm probably going to get myself to it is to take the alternator back out. Oh, it's not fun. Oh, see, I don't think there's enough space in here to get my hand down in there. Let's see if I can find it down there. I might be able to grab it with my little grab tool. I really need to stop hitting my head on that light. Now, I cannot find that extension, so I'm going to pause the camera again, take the alternator out, and go get my socket. I can't even see it from here, which means it's way in the back. Oh, rat. Why me? Way in the back. Oh. Alright, we're back again. Learned a very valuable lesson last night. Leaving spark plug wells open while you're assembling stuff is risky business. Last night, I dropped that socket. I was up here working on tightening up the bolts that held in the throttle body. It bounced off of here and it went right down in that spark plug hole. And just because it's just tiny enough, it fell down inside the motor. So with a little bit of an improvised magnetic device, I managed to pull it out of the cylinder hole. That was a lot of fun. Now, we're going to put the spark plugs in. Bought the new ones. Replace the bad ones, old ones, cracked ones. We're going to double check the gaps on all of these. And I'm going to have to look up the specs on the spark gap because the emissions label that normally contains that information is not present. Alright, got all the spark plugs gapped. The information that I found said 054. So we've got all the spark plugs gapped at 054. So I got my wrench, spark plug socket, extension, and I always use a swivel. Whenever I'm dealing with spark plugs, I always use a swivel. That way there, I don't accidentally break a plug. So set that down. We're going to grab the anti-seize. And I'm going to put a light coating of anti-seize on all of the spark plugs and drop them in their little perspective holes. A couple of little minor issues over on this side earlier, so we'll take care of it over there. Takes care of all 4 spark plugs down in their holes. Now I'll get the ones over on this side. One, two, three, 4. Now we'll take the socket and just spin them down in there. Alright, let's get these all. This way here we don't have any repeats of the nightmare from last night. I had this whole thing back together practically. Hopefully no little bugs or critters or anything crawled into these holes last night, because if they did, they're going to be well done really soon. Okay, all of them are in finger tight, and we're going to go and snug them all up. Just remember, someday you're going to want to take spark plugs back out. You want them tight, but not too tight. This is one of my favorite wrenches. Very seldom ever break or over tighten anything with this. One of the drawbacks of being a mobile mechanic. Lots of road noise. And all our spark plugs are tight. Yay. Alright, next thing we're going to do is put all of these bolts back into this intake manifold. There's 5 on that side and there's 4 over on this side, because you got the 2 up in the front on the thermostat housing. And let's not forget the one back here we really hate. Let's try to get that one started first. Okay, that one we need the 10mm and the swivel again. I'm going to take this a step further. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Okay, I dropped the socket again. This time, it's retrievable. All we're doing right now is just lightly snugging them down. Okay. And back to the wrench with the swivel. Tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. And nice and tight. And the intake manifold is completely bolted down. You already have the fuel rail down. So we're good. We're going to grab the throttle body, put that on now. Just set it in place. Again, I like to put bolts back in where they came from whenever possible. Get this lightly bolted up to the EGR first. And we get the 5.5 inch long bolts. One there, one there, one right underneath the throttle position sensor, one right behind the idle control valve, and one on the other side of the EGR. Those are 8mm. That's the one we dropped last night. So much easier the second time around. And snug across diagonally. And snug. And snug. And snug. And snug. And our throttle body's bolted down. And let's grab the 10mm and get these EGR bolts tightened up. And the throttle body's bolted in. And grab the wiring harness for the fuel injectors. Plug these all in. Snap that down on the rail. Everything looking good.